Hello, people in my group. So I chose option A, option one. I forgot which one it was, but after reading the Upworthy article, I see the perception that the guy made without even assessing the scene. He made an immediate assumption that this guy was out just to be annoying. He never asked, he never clarified, he never even made real conversation. It was always the guy being like high five in random English phrases. He instantly saw foreign and weird in space invading and catches these weird phrases. Then nothing else really mattered. Nothing else in the scenario appeared differently. Honestly, I've made a similar mistake before, almost exactly like that, while I was in college back home, and I was actually in campus and in my classes, and someone always had their things in my seat. There was no really assigned seating, but I always sat with the same group of people sat with me. It was nothing out of the ordinary to see me sit in that seat. You know, when you start a semester or a class or a year and that same person sits in that same seat all year long, it's kind of like if you sat in that seat, you did it on purpose because I sit there. It's very childish. At the end of the day, it's very childish. But in my difference is I always ask. I like clarification. I feel like clarification is a simple way of getting your answer answered. And if I find what they were doing annoying, I would just ask hey, are you trying to save my seat? Or something along those lines. And that person did tell me yes. They were I was just making sure no one sat here because so-and-so tried to sit here the day before. What I can do to improve my perception can be not to assume that it's always about me and to think of two other assumptions other than myself that could be a reasoning of someone else's behavior. Kind of like watching that video, it kind of puts things in perspective that not everything is exactly what it seems. And your perception is different from someone else's. So just to get that clarification kind of puts everybody on the same level field. I'm kind of a person of clarification. Try to be open-minded and mindful of other people's actions and reactions, but I can do better of not assessing a situation as a problem and more of expressing something that I may not be aware of. What I notice about the assumptions I make is that I think that they're intentional sometimes. Nothing in particular, but sometimes personal. Whether it's a car that cut you off or that person that merged right in front of you when you knew there was dangerous space. And in retrospect, they may have somewhere to go, they may have somewhere to be, they may not, but you don't know. So instead of taking it as a bad day, you can just kind of see it in different perspectives. It can be a retail clerk. It can be anything just small and unintentional. Relationships, the relationship between perception of thinking and empathy kind of go hand in hand, because when you think of perception questions, you have to be empathetic to all your line of questioning. So it's not about you. Start there first and then move on to what it may or may not be. Thanks.